All right. Welcome to Trolls Toys. Let's get into it and see what we have today. Figure reviews, toy hunts, etc. All right, YouTube. Welcome back to Trolls Toys. This week's toy haul. Trolls Treasures, episode 12. And as we mentioned last week on the haul, we stopped by our local FYE because it was closing. And we did that again on Friday, April 25th. And they had action figures. It said the entire store was 30 to 75% off, but apparently they had some action figures on clearance for 90% off, but you really didn't know. It was like rolling the dice, so I just kept taking stuff up to the counter and asking her to price it. So we were able to score big on some NECA figures. Some we had, some we didn't have. Like we got this Flash Gordon, right? Final Battle Ultimate Action figure, $3.99 because he's 90% off, which I thought was awesome. And you've seen us pick her up before at a Walmart on clearance for 15 bucks. How about $2.98 from FYE going out of business? So we're just going to trade this one in. April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein. And you saw me pick up the Count and Herman Munster from Jay's Toys and Games last week. Well, now we got Lily Munster by NECA from FYE. That's closing. $4.99. And I did pick up another copy of Herman and another copy of the Count. Each, they were $3.99 each. We're just going to trade those. So we got 3 Monsters figures, one for $5 and two, which is Lily, and then Herman and the Count were $4. Ultimate Dungeons and Dragons, we got Grimm's Word. And I've been looking at these, never wanted to pull the trigger at full price. Sorry, shambles. But for $2.99, we'll pick up Grimm's Word, and they had 3 of them, so I bought all 3. I'm going to keep one, going to trade the other 2. So, huge scores at FYE. Carrying on from my local FYE and carrying on from Dungeons and Dragons, we got Strongheart. And just to show you, I'm not making this shit up. Strongheart, $2.99. War Duke, who's my next Dungeons and Dragons figure that I'm going to bring in. $2.99. Right, so I only had Zarek, which I got from another FYE that was going out of business like a couple of months ago for 12 bucks, and now we got Grimm's Word, War Duke, and Strongheart for $3 each. We got the Playmates version of The Last Ronin, $4. And then we're going to get into some Black Series now, even though I'm not huge into Black Series. Right, they were also on the super cheap. So we got Grand Admiral Thrawn for $4. And then you're going to see we got the Fourth Sister coming up next for $4. And then we got Ahsoka Tano for $3.19. Because it's 90% off, which is amazing. So there's the Fourth Sister, who is also $4. And here's Ahsoka Tano, $3.19. And we got this little Ninja Turtles Reaction Chrome Dome for $1.98, which I thought was stellar. And then the last thing we picked up, I'm amazed by. We got this Tower of Fear, 5 points, Mezco's Monsters by Mezco Toys, which is a diorama, right? And it comes with the 5 figures. So it comes with the sea creature, the werewolf, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and the mummy, right, by Mezco Toys. Tower of Fear, $4.99. So huge pickups to start out this week's toy haul from FYE. It's unfortunate they're going out of business, but you know, they did price their stuff like they liked it a whole lot. But we were able to rack up because of it. Awesome. All right, YouTube, Saturday, August 26th. I went back to my local FYE that's going out of business, and we got this Eastman's and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Classic Black and White Comic Book Turtles 4-pack. Now, their original FYE prices was $100, which is probably crazy, but we got all 4. So we got all 4 of them. Mikey, Donnie, Leo, and Raph for $2.49 each. So all four for 10 bucks. I thought that was an absolute steal because they were 90% off. And what I'm about to show you next is we got reaction figures by Super 7 for between $1.99 and $2.19. So we got 10 of them. For 2 bucks from Dungeons and Dragons, we got the Sacred Statue. For 2 bucks from Ninja Turtles, we got Donatello. And Michelangelo for 2 bucks each. So we got 1 Dungeons and Dragons, 2 Turtles. Obviously, we picked up Chrome Dome from the FYE yesterday, so we ended up with 3 Turtles. But I think I'm going to trade these 2. And then for $2 each, we got 7 Super 7 reaction G.I. Joes. So we got Python Patrol Destro, Tiger Force Duke, Python Patrol Bat, Tiger Force G.I. Joe Trooper, Tiger Force Scarlet, Shambles. We got Python Patrol Cobra Commander. And rounding out our reactions, we got Python Patrol Baroness. So we got 4 Python Patrols, which was Baroness, Cobra Commander, the Bat, and Destro. And then we got 3 Tiger Forces, which is the G.I. Joe Trooper, Scarlet, and Duke for $2 each. And obviously the Sacred Statue and the 2 Turtles. So once again, 90% off. Was awesome. All right, YouTube, we're back. Still Saturday, April 26th. And we took a bunch of those figures that you saw us pick up earlier from yesterday and today from that FYE going out of business that we did not want, along with some duplicate G.I. Joes that we bought during Circle Week, and traded them in at That's Entertainment in Worcester. Got a pretty substantial trade credit. And then it turns out this is That's Entertainment's 45th year in business. So you can get 20% off of any single purchase today only. So I went a little bit crazy, right? But we got like 250 bucks in trade credit to start with, so that helped. But we got the Transformers Decepticon Megatron His Tank crossover for G.I. Joe. Comes with the Baroness. Right, so I thought this is pretty sweet. We also picked up Transformers crossover Autobot Cup Triple T with Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck. So I thought both of these were awesome. I don't really like Transformers, but anyway, I can get G.I. Joes, I'll take it. And the little Sergeant Slaughter figure is awesome. The His Tank is awesome. I don't have the HasLab Hiss, so obviously I'm happy to add this one and the Triple T. The main reason we took that trade is obviously because we found those figures for 90% off at FYE, and we were out for this guy. This is Flame Toys, Snake Eyes. Right, and he's in his plastic tomb inside. We'll have to take him out in another video to review him. But I believe this is the only Flame Toys G.I. Joe so far. Right, and he's an expensive G.I. Joe. Even more expensive than the Mezco ones. But obviously getting into the higher end Joes as well. I mean, I loved G.I. Joe, was awesome when I was little. G.I. Joe and LJN wrestlers. Haven't really got back into the LJNs, mostly into the Mattel Legends. Close enough for me. And that's what you'll see a bunch of coming up next. Starting out our Legends pickups, we got Series 17, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. We got Series 11, the Bad Guy, formerly known as Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. We got Series 11, Bam Bam Bigelow. We got Series 14, the Rated R Superstar, Edge. And we got Series 12, Badass Billy Gunn in his DX gear. We picked up some more wrestlers not in Legends packaging, so we'll show you those next. From 2017, we got Shawn Michaels in his Rockers gear, this WWE Retro Fest. I just loved his packaging, just like I love the Street Fighter Jada Toys figures packaging. So he'll probably stay in the package, obviously. Now, this is the big boss man I remember in his Cobb County correctional gear. We got the WWE Network Spotlight. Big boss man. And we got the Elite Collection, Greatest Hits, King Harley Race. Coming in from G.I. Joe Classified, we picked up another copy of the Iron Grenadier. And we picked up the 60th anniversary Pilot. Coming in from Marvel, only Marvel pickup, I think. Yeah, we got Toxin. I just thought this guy looked badass to go along with my Venom and my Spider-Man figures. Don't know a lot about Toxin, but I think it said this is the Eddie Brock edition, who is Venom, so I'm not quite sure of the lore. Coming in from NECA, I could not pass up this Thermal Vision Fugitive Predator. Small box, he's probably gonna stay in the box. I just love the way that this one looks as well in the package. And he's badass. I just remember that from the film. I didn't even know there was a figure. Coming in from Gremlins, we got the Ultimate Gizmo. At least I'm pretty sure it's Gizmo. Yeah, Gizmo. Alright, so I couldn't pass him up. Only McFarlane pickup is this Scarecrow. Just needed the torso from Bane. Now we just need to find Omega, and we'll be able to build Bane. Correction, I guess technically this is McFarlane as well. Thought I was done with my Spawn display, but then we saw the Gunslinger Spawn, who I don't have. I just thought he looked pretty badass, so we picked him up. So that's our big trade from That's Entertainment, using a bunch of the FYE clearance figs and the Target Circle figs that we bought at deep discounts. We got a pretty substantial trade credit. We obviously also gave them some of our real money, but 25% off, and That's Entertainment is an awesome store. Or 20% off today only because of their 45th anniversary, so had to take advantage. Tried my best. All right, YouTube, continuing this week's pickups on Trolls Treasures. This week's Toy Haul episode 12. We went back out to Granby, Massachusetts to Kevin's Barnyard Flea Market and Legends Video Games and more. And at Kevin's Barnyard Flea Market, I picked up 2003 Jakks Pacific Mr. Kennedy. Says $4, but he's 40% off, so he's $2.55. I've determined I really like this 2003 Jakks Pacific. And then we went to Legends Video Games and More in Granby, and I got to tell you, that owner and that store are awesome. And I've been collecting like 5 months, and when I first started collecting, I was just like, oh, I'm buying that, that's cheap. Oh, I'm buying that, that's cool. But I'm running out of room, so I took a lot of my hodgepodge figures, not that they weren't good figures, but just it didn't fit into my collection anymore. Out to Legends Video Games and More, and got a $105 store trade credit. So we used that and then gave him some of our real money as well. But if you've never been to Legends Video Games and More in Granby and you get the chance, please go visit. You won't be disappointed. But the first thing that we picked up is this Ghostbusters WWE crossover Undertaker. I can't decide if he's going to go in my WWE display or my Ghostbusters display, but either way, he's pretty badass. We also picked up this Ghostbusters crossover, The Rock. Those are the only two he had. He didn't have the Stone Cold or the Shawn Michaels or the John Cena. He said those have been purchased already. But the two that I really wanted, which was that sort of ghost-looking Undertaker and The Rock, because this will go in my Rock display, were there. So I had to pick them up. We also picked up from Legends Video Games and More, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And this will go well with my, what was the name of it? Firefly Playhouse, I believe was the name of his show. Basic that we found at Yankee Flea Market a few months back. So now we got The Fiend. Rest in peace, Bray. For our WWE Legends wall, we got Series 15, Stacy Keibler. And we'll get back to figures, but a couple of DVDs that I picked up, and he threw these in since I had picked up so much stuff, and just we had a good conversation. He's a very nice guy. So I got The Rock, right? The most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Not to watch the DVD per se, but just to either use this or probably this inside as the backdrop for my Rock action figures. Because we have The Rock from Ghostbusters and Jumanji and Black Adam and WWE. So And he threw this one in as well. This is going to be the backdrop for my movie figures. But I might actually watch this one because amazingly enough, I don't think I've ever seen the Simpsons movie. For our horror display, we picked up this Pennywise by NECA. And look at how many different head sculpts it has. It's insane. I think I'm going to leave it in the package, and it's just going to serve as the backdrop for my sort of more modern era horror figures like Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers. And yeah, I thought this was awesome. And now for G.I. Joe, since we found those reactions right at the FYE, we just decided we'd start picking up some more 3 3/4 Joes, and these are all from 2020, I think. Before they started classified, they were going to retool this, so we got Storm Shadow and Duke, and I already have Stalker from this line. So, and we got Snake Eyes, and we got the Cobra Trooper. I don't know, somebody traded in their 3 3/4 Joes or what, but we also got the Cobra Hiss with the Cobra Hiss driver. We picked up the Cobra Fang with the enemy pilot. And we picked up the All Striker with crankcase. So really added to our 3 3/4 Joe collection. Happy to have them. And then I figured I got to stop by the Yankee flea market on my way home, since it is on my way home in Palmer. And we picked up this Marvel Gamerverse Miles Morales action figure for $10. Also coming in from Yankee Flea, we got Zuko. He's missing his ponytail, but you know, it's okay for our avatar display. $4. And I'm not sure what line he is. Let me get him out of the pack. Yep, I'm not really sure who made him. I'll have to do some research. I think when I lensed him, it said 2005 by Mattel, but I'll have to double check that. I guess so many different companies have made avatars. It's kind of crazy to try to keep up with who makes what. But like I said, he's missing his ponytail, but you'll never know if you see him from the front, so that's okay. And rounding out for Yankee Flea Market, we got some doll furniture. This is just a side table for our living room display over here that we're working on. And then we got some firewood for our little G.I. Joe outpost display. And these are obviously stuff's in the way, but you know, they're works in progress. All right, still Sunday, April 27th, right? We went back to our local FYE that's closing. And I found out the secret sauce yesterday, and we picked up a bunch more clearance figures. Probably not going to keep a lot of these, just going to use them as trade fodder. But we got this reaction, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Luck, is that how you say his name? $1.98. We got Legends of Lucha Libre, Taya Valkyrie. I already have this figure, so this will obviously be trade bait. She was $3.19. We got 2 copies of Legends of Lucha Libre Juventud Guerrera. One for me because I didn't have it, and one to trade for $1.98 each. Legends of $1.99, sorry. Legends of Lucha Libre Juventud Guerrera. This was our most expensive pickup from FYE. This is Diamond Select Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. He was $3.99. We got Kraglin and Mantis. I guess they tie for most expensive. They were also $3.99 each from Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Shawnee from Dune 2. And I just bought the bald guy, Fade Roth Harkonnen, 2 of them, one for me and one to sell because I found them for FYE last week for $7. And Fade Roth sold on eBay today for $23. So I already have Shawnee, so she'll either be trade bait for one of the specialty toy stores or we'll sell her on eBay. But if I didn't mention it, she was $2.79. Black Series, we got General Hera Syndulla from Ahsoka. I do not have this figure. $3.19. Don't really want this figure, but we got Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Jessica Drew. Couldn't pass it up. 99 cents. We got Vel Sartha Black Series from Star Wars Andor. $2.39. Picked up Ahsoka already from FYE at 90% off, but they had another one, so I picked it up as well, $3.19. So we'll probably use our Ahsoka as trade bait. We got Spider-Man No Way Home MJ. I just bought this figure last week for $8, but who knew, right? So we'll probably trade her, or she's just a basic human, but look, 99 cents. Rounding out today's pickups, we got Retro Collection Sabine Wren from Ahsoka, $1.99. We got 14 figures for $36. I'm stoked. And a lot of these we're just going to trade, right? Because we can get more for them and trade than we paid for them, and it's not things we really collect. But I knew that going in. When it's 90% off, we're just looking for figures we think we can flip. All right, continuing this week's episode of Trolls Treasures, or this week's Toy Haul, episode 12. Coming in from Amazon.com, use reward points to get this egghead just because we need the Build-A-Figure piece for Cassie Lang, but I think I can use him as an evil scientist for Dr. Mindbender's crew with G.I. Joe. Also from Amazon, we got Marvel's Gamerverse, Captain America Stealth Edition, or Stealth version. Just wanted the Build-A-Figure part for Joe Fix-It. I'm addicted to Build-A-Figures, but we'll figure out something to do with the Cap in the G.I. Joe world. I mean, he could certainly just be, I think in this getup, I could just use him as a soldier or on the boat or something, but we'll use him. Not with Marvel, but with the Joes. Tuesday, April 28th, 29th, Shambles. Stopped by the Best Buy in Millbury off camera and got Ultimate Alex Murphy on clearance from RoboCop for $14.99. Also got another copy as Casey Jones as the Phantom of the Opera from the TMNT Universal Monsters line for $11.99. Not worth showing. It's a third copy I've got of that. One for me to keep, one I traded, and this one I'll probably trade as well. Went crazy during Circle Week. If you watch that video, you know that. Bought some Mario shit. Really, I was like, I don't need those peripheral characters for my Mario display. So returned them, and they had 2 reactions. I've not bought any of these at full price reaction pluses. I just got some on clearance you saw earlier in this video. But I couldn't pass up this Zartan Cold Slither. They also had Cobra Commander Arctic Mission, but I left him there. But Zartan Cold Slither I thought was too good to pass up. And I'll keep my eye out for Serpentor because I'd like to add him in this line as well. And then went back to my local FYE that's going out of business for the 4th time. And found Space Invaders and Tetris My Arcades. Right? I was going to try to get some more action figures, but they said they'd taken them off clearance. Maybe I bought too many. I don't know. But they're just back to 40% off. None of them are 90 anymore. But these guys were 90% off, right? So we got them for $4.99 each. I thought that was a steal because I can obviously play them, and I can also use them in displays with my Joes, right? And we'd already picked up from the Big Lots in my town that was going out of business prior, Bad Dudes on clearance as well. So now we have these 3 Space Invaders, Bad Dudes, and Tetris that we can either play the actual games or use in our displays. All right, continuing this week's pickups from Wednesday, April 30th. In the wild, finally, we found Monday Night Wars Greatest Hits Diamond Dallas Page at the Walmart in Seekonk, Massachusetts. I'm excited because now we can build Gorilla Monsoon. DDP was the one we were missing. Bang! Coming in from Target.com, it's the whole train. The Godfather, Legend Series 26. We pre-ordered these during Circle Week so that we could get them out on discount, like $18.50 a piece instead of $23 or whatever it was, because of the discounts during Circle Week. Also from Target.com, it's true. It's damn true. Kurt Angle. Still waiting on Rosie and Carlito. They have not arrived yet. And I told you I got pissed after our hunt on Monday the 28th because the figure swapping shit at the Walmart in Worcester and not being able to find Great Muta at 5 different Walmarts, and then I folded and ordered him on ringside.com, and then I found him yesterday in Bellingham, Massachusetts at a Walmart on the 29th. But it was too late because this had already shipped. So we got the Great Muta, the regular, again. So now we have two and the Chase variant. That's okay, though. Because since I keep the legends in the package, Charles Wright as the Godfather will stay in the package on the wall. But now we also have Charles Wright as Papa Shango coming in from Ringside, a Ringside exclusive. And you can get it in the 2-pack set with Ultimate Warrior, but I already got like 3 Ultimate Warriors, so I don't need another Ultimate Warrior. And I already have an Ultimate Warrior, so we're good. All right, YouTube, just in the nick of the time to make episode 12 of this week's toy haul. From Target.com, we got in our other pre-orders, and we opened up the first box, and who do we get? Chase Rosie. I had ordered 2 of him, hoping to get a Chase and a regular, and we did. And like I said, we ordered these during Circle Week, so we got them for 18 bucks right out the gate versus the $23 price tag. And also making it in today, Carlito. So now we have all of Wave 26, Rosie Chase, Carlito, Kurt Angle, and all aboard the whole train, the Godfather. And then it's May 1st, right? Thursday, May 1st. So we stopped by our local GameStop and they had some markdowns because the packages were destroyed, right? But we're a pro member, so we get a $5 off each month. So this Koopa Troopa was $6.97. So we decided to pick him up. And rounding out this week's toy haul, we got Scrap Iron with the anti-armor drone from the GameStop. He was on a markdown for like 35 bucks. From his normal like 45 buck price tag. Box is also damaged, but then we got that $5 off, so I picked him up for 30 bucks. And shambles to end this week's toy haul because I fucking screwed up with the camera. But I was going to say, we already have Scrap Iron in the anti-armor drone, but I've always displayed him with his helmet on because you couldn't take his helmet off on the old 3 3/4. But he's got a pretty gnarly scarred up face. So I figured that's why we'd pick up this second copy and get him into our display here with our Trouble Bubble and our Bat and our Night Attack Stinger and Cobra Commander. So we'll try to figure out how to work him in there. Second version, I just want to be able to display him with his helmet on and helmet off because I think he's a pretty badass fig. But anyways, as always, this has been Trolls Toys. I truly appreciate you watching my videos, and we'll see you soon.